We are back in. It is a Thursday edition of Danny and Cello. Colts on tap. Cello, welcome back from your little vacay. How are you?
It was, I'm good. It was a great little trip.
Yeah.
Great little getaway.
So it's awesome. Your kids are big, the fam all out there.
Yes.
Saw some pictures. You guys look like you had a lot of fun. You took in the Broncos last week from out of town. You were on assignment.
Yes, I was actually in Nashville.
Yeah.
I read the schedule wrong. I didn't know Nashville or the Titans were coming
I told
here.
you, boots on the ground,
Tennessee.
though.
So I just wanted to get a feel for what they're thinking about their team out there.
Yeah.
A lot of people love the Broncos out there, especially that day, for reasons you know.
You guys might be wondering, too, what's up with the looks. For one, don't be shocked by anything Chell and I could pull off any look, okay? Style, sophistication, grace, elegance, cheese, a little vino. Actually, it's a company potluck. It's the tailgate potluck today.
Yes.
It's the big tailgate potluck. I'm newer around here. You're a veteran. I was expecting like keg stands. And I thought we were kind of going to get, I think, crunk as the kid. No? Not in the middle of the day here?
No.
Not at all?
So you brought cookies, which was nice.
Yeah, that was from all of us.
Showed up fashionably late, as Danny tends to do, which is great, dude. It's
running a little bit behind.
Welcome to it.
Yeah, no, it's good. Okay, so
it's to get us ready. Football starts tonight. What other better day to have a potluck at work than when you know the NFL week is getting started for week 2?
Yeah, no, great Thursday night game. You and I will host tonight, Denver Sports Tonight as well, which will be good. We'll throw a prediction for tonight's game out at the end of the show as well. But the Broncos have the Colts, who smashed, surprisingly kind of went out there and smashed the Dolphins. But then you kind of take a look back and you're thinking, okay, well, the Dolphins are a team that's kind of in flux a little bit right now. Tyreek Hill's got another domestic thing going on. Tua's health, hot seat for McDaniel, who I like a lot. I think he's a good coach. Maybe they got the Dolphins at just at the right time, meaning the Colts. I'm wondering, and the question is, are the Broncos getting the Colts at just the right time, or maybe just the wrong time?
I think you start answering that question with another question. Are the Colts as good as they looked on Sunday? Or the Dolphins that much of a mess?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to come back at you with a third question.
I would ask you, what do you think it is? Because I don't know. I mean, what did you pick that game? Would you have said last week, oh, I think the Dolphins are going to take care of business?
I didn't play the game, so to speak, but I would have taken the Dolphins. I thought the Dolphins were playoff contenders. Now that you take a step back from that game, you take a little bit of a step back from the game, you look at the skill players from the Colts. Tyler Warren, our guy Chavi, shout out. Sorry, I usually introduce you. Michael Pittman Jr. is a good player, and then Jonathan Taylor's still an elite runner. All those guys kind of click behind Daniel Jones. I'm one for like a comeback story. You know, I love
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I love second chances.
I think what's funny about it though is that look at his numbers, and out of all of the week 1 stories or narratives, nobody's talking about Daniel Jones.
No,
dude. When I was 22 or 29. I think just under 300 yards.
Touchdowns. Looked great.
So like, and that's a player that nobody's talking about, oh, man, he could rehab there. Those are like the Sam Darnolds.
Well, do you know
what?
If
Sam Darnold would have went out last week and had that same game, people would have been talking about it. Nobody's talking about Daniel Jones and the Colts.
You know, Cello, what you just made me think of a little bit was when he got that big contract from the Giants, what happened? Saquon kind of had a year. He kind of looked good. They looked like they were coming up still. Saquon gets, what do they cut him? They trade him? They let him go to free agency, right? Mm-hmm. And he goes to, obviously, Chavi's Eagles, and the rest is history. But Daniel Jones is left with no talent around him. Daniel Jones gets a few skill guys around him, and he's having like a little bit of a reboot. Rebuild.
Let's pump the brakes on that, too.
Yeah.
Because after 2 weeks last year,
look at what the Saints did last year for a couple
everybody's
weeks.
Darling was the Saints at the first 2 weeks that they knew how to beat Fangio's cover 2 defense, and they were going back, taking things. Where did the Saints end up?
Aints.
Exactly. It was not good. I'm not saying that the Colts are going to fall off that bad. I mean, you and I were talking before we started the show, and you're like, they're 8-9 last year.
Yeah.
You know, a couple games fall a different direction. They could have been a playoff team, starting with the game against the Denver Broncos when Jonathan Taylor mindlessly dropped the football as he's rolling into the end zone.
Yeah.
Because I think the result of that game's a heck of a lot different if he doesn't do that.
Cello, let's a moment in the season last year that was one of those defining, kind of maybe almost franchise-altering moments in games for the Broncos as they ascend to 10 games. And, you know, without that win, if Jonathan Taylor lays that ball down, 9 wins and not a playoff berth for the Broncos feels a lot different.
Completely different.
Completely different. So I'll say this. The Colts have one out for the Broncos. They remember what happened last year, and they finished 8-9. Is that right? So they're knocking on the doorstep, too, of the playoffs. And they look at the Broncos as one of those games where they kind of gave away. Broncos kept them out of the playoffs. So they're going to be motivated. They're going to be motivated in their building against these Denver Broncos who, again, the Colts by the end of the season, I think we all believe that they'll fade. We think they'll fade, right? But right now, like Coach Prime, they believe. They do believe, okay?
I don't know.
And they're believing it right now.
Listen, I think when we looked at the schedule, and our very own Zach Bai said it, that the most winnable home game was week 1, most winnable road game was week 2. A lot can change in this league. Like we said, every Thursday we're going to pick who's going to be in Santa Clara at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And we probably are going to have different selections 1 week into the season.
I forgot mine from last week.
So it's going to be a problem, but it's like, I think the Colts, going up until you said this to me, we were talking about what we were going to talk about today, and you're like, are they getting them at the right time or the wrong time? I really don't. I thought like it was maybe fool's gold what they did to the Dolphins. Maybe the Dolphins are just a true mess. But the more that you dig into what the Colts did last week, maybe they are a legitimate team.
They have a good offensive line. They have weapons at receiver. They have a still probably top 10, 7-6 runner in the league in Jonathan Taylor. We had to take a closer look at their defense. We'll do that tonight on Denver Sports Tonight. Take a closer look at the defense.
The rookie from K-State who backs him up. I think he had double-digit carries last week as well. They had over, I think, 120 yards on the ground.
So, yeah, again, and they kind of operate a style of play. Jonathan Taylor gets touches, and they kind of get him going. They will keep giving him the ball and feeding him the rock until he gets going. The Broncos run a couple, plays for 1 yard or negative yards. They're like, okay, let's throw it. We're done here. And so, again, the Colts are probably built right now in their current state with the belief that they have to go out there and beat the Broncos, especially considering what happened last year with the Broncos and the Colts, which was, pretty unbelievable, almost iconic moment for the 2024 Broncos when Jonathan Taylor lays that ball down there at the 1 yard line for us.
And then you keep thinking about it, and it's maybe the Broncos, the way they played last week against the Titans, maybe that's a blessing in disguise. Because if they roll them and they roll into Indianapolis thinking, oh, we're already on point, now they have to take it very seriously. I mean, obviously the defense lived up to its billing. They played phenomenal. The offense, we heard it all day yesterday, people getting each other's backs, saying I needed to be better here, player and quarterback. So maybe it happened at the right time, and they'll go in there. Now, listen, the Colts are going up against a much more formidable defense than they faced last week. That we can say with supreme confidence. Yeah. So that'll slow them down quite a bit. Then it'll be interesting to see what they're doing. I think right now we're spending so much time hyping up the Colts and forgetting what you have in Denver here.
I think that's a good thing because we were hyping up the Broncos a little bit too much.
Yeah, last week.
We were feeling ourselves from the offseason to the...
No negative stories, all positivity.
All the national love to what felt like, other than Dre Greenlaw, like a perfect training camp. Really, even the Vele move, man, cashed him in for some value. It felt like the Broncos had really been doing it all right. So, again, I love the idea of the question, how you're taking it and how any listener might take it. Are we getting the Colts at the right or the wrong time? You said it. If the Broncos go in there, so what happened last week was you dabbled in that fight game, right? They were in a boxing match and they got knocked down like in the third round. Everyone was like, "Whoa!" Nobody saw that coming. They got up. Everyone knew they're the best fighter, and they went on to win. They went on to win by points.
There's two different ways that happens in a fight game.
Yeah,
the one that gets knocked down, they get up all quick, like you didn't really hurt me, and then they get knocked down again. The Broncos took that knockdown. They took their standing 8 count and were like, "Hey, focus."
Yeah.
Let's get back into it.
And
that's what they're doing.
Though, and they regained control of Kent. You know what? It shook them to the core to force Sean Payton to run the ball. They ran the ball the second half. It changed the complexion of the game, really going into the half in a game where we said, don't let this be a first 1 to 20 type of game. I mean, that's literally played into the Titans' hands.
What was your prediction last week?
24-17 was my last prediction.
I think mine was 24-13.
Yeah.
And if you would just listen to what was being said about the Broncos after the game, people, you would have thought that it was like a 16-13 game. They still had pretty much control of it throughout.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't what the expectation, which what my point on Tuesday was. When expectations get risen, then you're expecting to see something different. Like you're expecting to see like that level of play right out of the gates. And a question that I didn't ask you on Tuesday, but I'll ask you now: what Super Bowl team looks great week 1? Unless you're a returning champion.
I'll tell you this. That's a great point. But for the AFC Championship Broncos contending crowd, the 11-12 win crowd,
Which you're out on.
well, I'm in the 10-11 win crowd. There's a fine line. Still in the 10-11 win crowd, you have to win these first 2 games. It's a no matter what. Not to win the division because you're not into the division yet. So not to make the playoffs necessarily. It's just big picture. If you're going to be that team that kind of everybody is expecting the Broncos to be, a top 10 offense to complement one of the best defenses in the league, therefore you're going to roll teams. You got to roll teams like this, not just beat teams like this. This is the come up, the ascension. You know, this isn't like the come down for the Chiefs. Everybody, the league's kind of caught the Chiefs and ready for the Chiefs, and it's everyone's biggest game. The Broncos they're on the come up right now. So you got to go blow some teams out too.
Who looked the best in week 1?
Between what, in the league?
In the league. Listen, I would ask you this, and you could even throw it out to Chavi because he's an Eagles guy. Was he satisfied?
Eagle.
Was he satisfied with their performance last Thursday?
Probably
not.
I'd
Probably
say
not. I mean, especially, and that's a defending Super Bowl champion.
Okay.
Who else was disappointing this past week? I think the Ravens had everything going for them to be.
The Ravens have to feel like they have the most
just got kicked in the gut.
in their face, really just deflating because of. I mean, you felt the game was essentially won. Like they had won the game within the game and still lost the game. You know what I mean? It's like
that. Their percentages were like 98%.
It was it was 99. It was It was a full 99. There was less than a 1% chance for the Bills to come back and win that game. So that's an interesting point. Okay, I could appreciate that. So the Broncos, just because it goes to what I'm saying, they haven't arrived on this stage yet. They're arriving. They're slowly ramping up to the arrival of championship contention. Okay, it's just we'll see glimpses of that this year. The Broncos are going to go look, I think, like 3 or 4 weeks this season. That the best team in the NFL complete because of what the defense is going to do and because of the capabilities of the offense and Sean. So there'll be weeks where they look like, man, the Broncos are complete. They look and feel like one of the best teams in the league. I just don't know if they've really arrived at that spot yet. And what will that look like when they do, Cello?
Well, I mean, it could be great, but then you also got to ask yourself the question of they played a rookie quarterback in what everyone perceived to be a bad football team last week. And yeah, they got out and the defense looked good, but what's going to happen to the defense when they run into some of the better offenses in the NFL? The Colts are a better offense than the Titans.
A lot better.
You're going to get tested on that front this Sunday.
Quite a bit better.
But then there's other challenges you're going to have. You have the Bengals on the schedule in September. You have the Eagles coming up. Like the Broncos defense needs to use these 2 games as just kind of like a get right type of deal, so that they're ready to go.
The ramp up. You have one less preseason game. Preseason games hardly matter to some organizations. How often are you banging into each other? Really, it takes the first few weeks of the NFL season, I think, for till you're feeling it for the first time, your body in a way where it's like, okay, this is it. This is the real thing. So how long does it take for an NFL team who it's not the 80s and the 70s and even the 90s with 2-a-day practices? Mike Shanahan, in the early 2000s, they still got all that extra work in, man.
Did you
Sometimes
answer who do you think looked the best?
The best in week 1 of any team in the NFL? The best of any team in week 1 in the NFL. Are you trying to get me to say the Colts?
No.
Okay. Is this a trick question? What's the question?
Man. This guy's crazy. I'll give you my answer.
Okay.
It's the Packers.
Okay.
They look the best.
Yeah.
And they did it against a team that you would have thought, wait, you have to be on that gradual thing that you're talking about with the Packers too.
Yeah.
No, when they went in and got Micah Parsons, they went all in. And I'm not saying it's going to live out this way the entire season, but through 1 week, I think they were the most impressive team.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this one more time.
Yours was the Colts?
I'm going to ask you another question here real quick, okay? So not in conclusion because we still have some time here, but when the question is asked, when I ask you the question.
What's the question?
Are the Broncos getting the Colts at the right time or the wrong time? I would say I think they're getting them at the right time because who and what they are is in for probably a little bit of a regression to how well they performed against the Dolphins last week. Okay, because the Dolphins are formidable and a playoff contending team on their own, and I think we'll get right by the season's end. So I think the Colts are in for something that the Broncos have become that they're not going to quite see many times this season. And I think the Broncos are getting the Colts at kind of the right time to put a little deflation in them, even though they're riding pretty high right now.
I'm going to agree with you, but for a different reason.
Okay.
I think they're getting them at the right time, but mostly because of the underwhelming performance of week 1. I think that'll refocus the team. Exactly. Listen, you said it. I mean, there wasn't how much negativity surrounded this club this summer at all. I mean, there might have been some things where you said, whoa, pump the brakes. We're trying to fast forward this process that you're talking about. That was about the only negative story that really came out of Dove Valley at all this preseason. So for them to go out week 1 and especially offensively to look not like what we were expecting, to kind of energize, refocus on the details like you mentioned, that's why I think they're getting the Colts at the right time. And the Colts being how good they played, they're riding high right now.
Yes, I like what you're saying here. And I actually think, to talk about Bo for a sec, Bo didn't have to do too much last year. Like there's no expectations. He just kind of went out there and evolved as the season went along, okay? So they didn't have tight ends. You had to kind of throw the ball. They had to throw the ball to have success. So there was that kind of pressure on Bo Nix to, again, he's the one operating the machine. This year is different. Bo has a tight end who should be an easy anchor on 4, 5, or 6 occasions where he's just giving you easy outlets, a big target, coming back to the ball, and then doing something with it. And then you saw the natural relationship that Courtland Sutton and Bo are kind of having or involving. If you run the ball the way they did in the same fashion, just do it throughout 4 quarters like you did with Dobbins and Harvey and sprinkle in whoever your third running back is for that week, Bo Nix doesn't have to do as much as he did like last year. He doesn't have to do as much as he did like last year as he's taking that next step forward.
Does he feel like he needs to be?
No, he did way too much in that first game. He was really
I know. That's what
hard.
I'm saying. I think he felt – that's what I was talking about on Tuesday. When you put that expectation, not only on the team, but on that player, that specific player in Bo Nix, and he's seeing his defense go out and live up to their billing, it's human nature to want to go out and perform well, especially when you've talked about – hey, this guy could be one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league. And let's not forget the Sean Payton quote that we need to start faster.
Yeah.
The last 2 seasons, they've started slow. If they want to be where they want to be at the end of the season, you can't start slow. And you ended up kind of starting slow again.
Well, do you know what, Cello? I want to look at it like this, okay? So week 1 has happened. It's in the books. By Wednesday, we're kind of usually over it, no matter what happened, okay, for better or for worse. You mentioned the feeling of like we scraped one out. It was not a double-digit win, and they didn't cover, so to speak, but the Broncos were seemingly in control of that game, you know, barring some real heroics. Calvin really making a play like that, some real crazy stuff going down, right? So the Broncos win this game against the Colts. Easier said than done, okay? That's where we're here to discuss this thing right now. They beat the Colts here. Next week, when we're here on Tuesday, Cello, they're 2-0. You look at those numbers of 2-0 starts. How many 2-0 teams? Like, what's your percentage of making the playoffs? 70-some percent? I mean, maybe my guy Chavi could pull some of those up really quick. Just like after a 2-0 start, what's your percentage?
The Saints were 2-0 last year, though, too.
Okay,
right?
well, again, it's not a perfect equation, Cello.
No.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, how sweet would it be to be 2-0 here on Monday, and just kind of be looking forward to the real kind of tough part in the meat of your schedule? That's the perfect start for the Broncos. Almost no matter what happens.
No, I think you have to have that be the start.
Yeah.
For the Broncos, especially, listen, man, we talked about it when we filled in the morning drive about how the gauntlet that the AFC is. And it proved out in week 1 for sure. Like, listen, there's teams that you thought were just going to be way better. Like, I thought the Eagles were going to destroy the Cowboys. That ended up being a close game.
Yeah.
The Ravens, up until that 5-minute mark, maybe looked like the best team in the NFL. And then you saw real quickly how things can change in the NFL. But those are the type of things that the Broncos need to like these type of games. You can't have every season, Danny. There's always that game that you should have won that you lost, and maybe one that you win that you probably shouldn't have won.
Okay.
But these two, you have to win.
With saying that, Cello, style points matter for this team? Are the Broncos at a point, the ascension to where style points matter in the fashion that we're beating these teams? I'd say not, but I don't think they're winning a Super Bowl this year. So I'll take wins when you can get wins. You just mentioned it. The defending world champ Philadelphia Eagles, it wasn't easy work for them. And if you look around the entire league, I mean, the Chiefs are 0-1 right now as well, right? So the Broncos is a win. Style points do not matter at this point right now. We just got to take them when we can get them.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Okay.
Because a lot of those teams that you mentioned, there's going to be some unfamiliar faces sitting at 0-2 at the end of this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chiefs have the Eagles again. I think the Lions, I don't know who the Lions play again, but those are two teams that were, for the last couple years, they were at the top of the league as far as being in competition for Super Bowls. And there's going to be a couple of those teams that uncharacteristically are going to be sitting at 0-2. If the Broncos already steal a couple and get to 2-0, then the games I'm talking about is like maybe you lose to the Bengals, but you beat the Eagles, or vice versa.
Oh, for sure.
You lose to the Eagles, but beat the Bengals.
Here's what I'm looking at. Commanders, you got Eagles, Commanders, Packers. Those unfamiliar, NFC opponents. You can go beat. You're 2-3 out of that group. You are flirting with the 11 or 12 win territory.
Well, Chavi got it for you.
Okay, so what? Tell me.
At 2-0, it varies by era, is what I'm reading.
Okay.
But between 64 and 69%. You said 70%, so you're right around the.
No, yeah, for
area.
sure. So again, those numbers aren't undeniable, but a 2-0 start would definitely give the Broncos a cushion at a certain point where they maybe give one away against a team that, you didn't have the ball's shaped funny and bounces weird. So I think the Broncos, all things considered, I think the Titans were a better team than we thought they were last week. Okay? They're a little bit better than we thought they were. And I think Cam Ward, reminded me of Cam Newton. He looked big and physical and kind of like a leader, kind of mature. And by the season's end, I think that's a 5 or 6 win team. They're not a 2 or 3 win outfit. They'll, that's a team that will win a handful of games, I think. So, okay, what else before we get out of here?
We got to do our Super Bowl predictions.
Okay.
And I don't remember yours. I'd have to rewind the tape. Mine, I had Lions and Ravens.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They both, Lions got beat up.
Wolf.
And the Ravens had one of the most epic collapses ever.
Yeah.
And they have a difficult schedule. So I'm telling you right now, mine's probably going to change. Do you remember what yours were?
Bills, Packers I have this week. I think I had that last week. Unless I had the Bills and the Eagles.
So. You can't just make stuff.
Unless I had the Bills
Chavi
and the
can
Eagles.
edit anything to sound like anything.
But yeah, I think that I'll take the Bills and the Packers, and I think that was what I had last week.
Yeah. I'm going to go back. I'll change it to it'll be cool. Maybe, Chavi, by the end of the year, you can just pull all of these clips to see who we had through the 17 weeks.
For our best of?
Yes.
For our holiday special?
Exactly. I'm going to go the Eagles and the Bills will be in Santa Clara in February 2026.
Again, some people are going to catch this and won't catch us tonight on the radio. So why don't you give a prediction for the Broncos and for the Colts?
Wow, this one's tougher than I wanted it to be, but I do think the Broncos get the win in Indianapolis on Keith Jackson Sunday.
Yeah.
Against the Colts. Give me the Broncos 24-23. It's going to be a barn burner.
I have 26-24 Broncos. 26-24 Broncos. This game is going to be close. The Colts have a belief right now. I think that's going to carry them. And maybe they did find something in Daniel Jones that the Giants just couldn't figure out. I mean, the guy earned a big contract and was drafted very, very high, so the talent's there, even though he's bug-eyed like this. He's like, but that's.
Did you be surprised if they lost?
The Broncos?
Yeah.
No.
Not at all.
I wouldn't be surprised because the Colts are 2-0, and they're looking at 69% of the time we make the playoffs at that point. And the Dolphins aren't a playoff team really anymore in some people's eyes. What's going to happen with the Steelers? Are they for real or not? So the Colts with the win against the Broncos would have a signature win. And then they'd have not a divisional win, but another AFC win. They'd be
I don't
in a
think
great
they'd look
spot.
at it. I don't think they'd look at it as a signature win.
The Broncos?
No, the Colts. If they beat the Broncos, you think that
The
would
Colts beat the Broncos, they'd look at that as a signature win, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah, getting through that defense and just, again, another playoff team. Because you still think if they were to lose this game, they would go to
I
the
think
playoffs,
the rest
right?
of the league is still looking at the Broncos like 10-7.
No, everyone loves them.
Yeah, to be in the playoffs.
Playoffs?
I don't think it. Well, you're the one who laughed about it a couple weeks ago.
Well, I
You're like,
laugh at-
nobody's putting them in the
Well,
championship
no one is.
game.
I hear 11, 12 wins, but no one.
So if you beat another playoff team, why is that a signature win? Beating the Eagles would be a signature win. Beating the Chiefs is a signature win.
I disagree. For
the Packers to beat the Lions in the fashion that they did, that's
Yeah.
a signature win to me.
Okay. That has been another edition of Danny and Cello. Our guy Chavi produces the product. We couldn't do it without him. Got this new setup here. It's going to evolve here. We're going to add some stuff here. So we're going to bring some special guests that coming out from backstage here. All kinds of stuff. So for Chavi, for Marcello Romano, I am Danny Williams. We appreciate you guys, and we love you guys. Good night, Sheila.
Yeah, whatever, Alan. Go inside.